My name is Jeannie Dodge, and I am interviewing today on May the 12th, Henry Dodrer.
Right.
And Henry, I want you to tell me a little bit stories about yourself, when you were born and where you've lived all your life.
Well, I was born the second month, 5th day of 22 in Westminster, and then they took me out on the farm, and there's where I was raised up out on the farm.
So you've done farming.
About 5 miles out of Westminster.
Okay.
And
how much, and you say farming, you milking cows or a dairy farm?
Cow, dairy farm, and grain. We used to have to stand up in the barn floor and grind, chop for the cows. And so,
and how many were in your family?
I'm
Siblings?
the only kid my mother had.
So you're only child, okay. And you have children of your own?
I got two girls and a boy.
2 girls and a boy. And what are you doing now as far as, like you said, farming back in the day? Can you tell us a little broader picture of the farming, how it took place here in Carroll County? Because I'm sure it's a lot different than it is today.
We used to milk cows by hand, and then we farmed with horses, plowed the ground and worked the ground down with horses, cultivated the crops. And then tractors come along about 69, 70 that you could row crop with tractors. And it made it a lot easier. And then the combine come along, it went out in the field and did the thrashing right in the field. And
how much land did your family have for farming?
they had 47 acres, but then they rented another 100 and some acre farm when I was a boy. But then when I started on 100 acres.
Wow, 100 acres.
And I bought the farm. And so I run a dairy herd there, and that was mostly income, sold wheat. But I remember back when I was 12 years old that they sold wheat for 12 cents or 45 cents a bushel. And eggs was 12 to 13 cents a dozen. That was back in the Depression days. So, and I remember the England sponsor had a grain mill right here at the corner of Liberty and Green down here. So that's where we sold our wheat.
So, so Carroll County at the time when you were growing up here was very, very small.
Yeah.
It's not like it is today, of course.
No.
And so you lived here all your life, and farming was the way of making income.
Up to 69, then I quit and went to Congolium for 18 years. And then I retired.
And now you're retired.
And I retired it.
Now, I know you said you have 2 girls and you have 1 boy,
Yeah.
1 son. Were they ever interested in farming growing up, or?
The boy was.
The boy?
But then he decided to go town work, so he worked up in York at the Caterpillar place, welding. And then he come back here and opened up the Westminster Antique Mall out here on Horn Road.
Okay.
So the youngest girl, her husband, they auctioneer, Nevin Tasto.
So everybody seems to be in the antiques somehow.
Well, he's an auctioneer. He sells anything. And the oldest girl, she works up at some high fluting place with me, and she ain't supposed to tell you where she works up in York. Then I liked it here in Carroll County. I mean,
well, you said, how about going to school? You want to tell some stories from going to school when you were growing up?
When I was 8 years old, I had to milk 1 cow, clean the stables, and then go up and eat breakfast, walk a good mile and a quarter to school. Rain, shine, snow. And then you come home, you did the stables and the cow milking and get wood on the porch before you got supper. It's no work, no eat.
Had to earn your keep, right?
Yep. So, my uncle and I used to get a little cash. We'd night hunt skunks. We picked the money one up. We had 26 one time penned up. We caught in the fall and penned them up till it got cold so we can skin them and sell their furs. But, we had fun.
Well, that's good.
We had a little fox terrier. He snuck away from my grandparents one night. He went along with us. He didn't smell too good when he come back. But we used to have 4 or 5 polecats on our back, in the back ground bag. The whole flashlight, pick them up by the tail, drop them in the bag.
Now, going to school, were you in a one-room schoolhouse with one teacher?
At Wolfersburg.
Mm-hmm.
It's a house now.
Okay. And I assume the teacher maybe taught all the subjects?
All 7 grades.
How many students were in that one-room schoolhouse?
Probably 35 to sometimes 38, 40.
Wow. So it was all grades from first
to 7th.
To 7th.
And some of them in the 7th grade were as big as I am today, what I mean. And they used to catch us little ones, throw us down, stuck poison ivory or poison oak in our mouth and make us chew it. One we didn't die, but we survived it.
Is there anything else you'd like to share with us growing up in Carroll County? You've been here a long time.
Yeah, I've been here a long time. My grandparents raised me from 18 months up. Prussian days was here. My mother went to Effort, Pennsylvania to work. Shoe factory up there. She worked at this one. It closed down and she went up there to work. So grandparents raised me.
Did your grandparents have anybody else in the house besides just them and you, or?
And my uncle.
And your uncle?
Him and I were the same as brothers. A lot of people thought we were brothers.
Oh, really?
They wondered how I got red hair to the others. We had a lot of fun together.
So you have grandchildren?
Oh, 7 grandchildren. And I think it's about 12 great-grandchildren.
How do you keep track of all of them?
My computer. I got 2 great-grandchildren.
Wow.
Just got one last week.
Well, congratulations. Wow. So do they come up and visit often, too?
No,
They
I
live
very seldom see them.
Yeah.
Now, the granddaughters of my youngest daughter, now her kids come a good bit, but the middle girl's got 2, and the youngest one's got 1, and the oldest one, she don't want children. She works down here at below Owens Mill Summers.
Mm-hmm.
She's got a good job paying. She don't want other kids.
Let's see. Is there anything else you might want to talk about as far as growing up in Carroll County and that you'd like to share with us?
No, I don't know much of anything more.
Okay.
Westminster on Friday and Saturday nights, you couldn't walk to Main Street. It was so crowded that you rubbed against each other to get there. Now you can run up the street. It makes a big difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I appreciate you coming in and interviewing with us today. I really do. And thanks for sharing your story with us.
Is that good enough?
Well, how about what was life really like during the Depression? We hear all these stories. I mean, it sounds terrible. How was life back then?
The farmers lived pretty good because they grew their own stuff. And when you come to, used to be an A&P store across from the old fire hall out here. And you go in there, you get 3 great big brown bags full of groceries for $3 to $5. Today you can't even get one started. I don't see where we're any better off than we was back in them days. You make big money and it's all gone. Right? I mean, people live, but I mean, town people come out maybe to help themselves sometime. And Shriver's had corn out. They went out at night, got a little sweet corn.
What was your highest education level? Was it over after 7th grade?
Right at that time it was. And I think when, just before I dropped out of the 5th grade, they was up to high school here in Westminster.
Did you guys have any, like, I'm sure you probably palled around with some close friends. Did you guys have any special games or activities that you would do?
Well, they'd play baseball, get together to play baseball. And there wasn't too much excitement going on. They didn't shoot each other every day like they do today.
Could you go to the movies or anything?
Yeah, we'd go to movies, quarter.
And how about holidays, like, you know, Christmas time and Easter? How did the family celebrate those?
Well, Christmas, kids got one toy, and that was it. But she always had homemade cakes and candy, and we enjoyed Christmas. I mean,
Any special foods that the family, favorite dishes that you can remember that you grew up on? That maybe mom would make, your grandma would make?
Thanksgiving and turkey at Christmas tastes pretty good.
I say. How about family reunions and things like that? Did you have those where families would
Not
get together?
my family.
No?
What was segregation like in the relationships between whites and African Americans back then?
Well, I lived right below the court, and we had no problems. Only once in a while you'd see in the dream where you kept your milk at night, there'd be a little milk floating around over the water of the board, and once in a while you'd hear a chicken squawk at night. But outside that, we had a good relation with the court. I mean, 2 of them worked for my grandpa every day for $1 a day and 3 meals. So
Do you have any experience during the World War II?
now they kept me on the farm. They said I was better there than was
Then too.
shooting. I shot crooked. No, I had deferment. My grandpa had 1 arm off here, and he wouldn't do much.
Do you have any like family heirlooms or anything like that or keepsake mementos that you would like to share?
I don't think so. I mean, when my grandpa decided to go to a nursing home, they put everything up and sold it. So I have got an old one of the 8-day clocks about this long, about this high, and it's got plastic, looked like pillars hold the top up,
Mm-hmm.
runs up. I did buy that at his sale. But I was starting up pretty good then. I was buying cows instead of antiques. It gets antique quick enough. I can buy something new in a couple of days. It'll look like antique.
How did you meet your wife?
Well, Baz Franklin had a dance hall on the other side of Taylorsville. And Sunday nights we'd all the kids around the community gathered there from Woodbine, Mount Airy. And I was down there one night and met her. She had long, blonde hair. That's what sold her. After I got her, then she got in town. Clip, clip, clip. That's true. I like long hair like she's got back there. That's about the length of her hair was blonde.
Did you attend church? Did you guys have a church or anything that
My
your family attended?
very seldom went to church.
Mm-hmm.
We did have the money.
Well, trying to think if there's anything else that you can think of that you'd like to share with us.
And I'm honoring the devil.
We can tell. So it wasn't too lonely though for you growing up on the farm, just you by yourself
No.
though. Kept yourself pretty busy.
We kept busy, and night, evening, summertime, we'd sit out on, we had a porch 3/4 way around the house. And we'd sit out on that porch, and on Sundays, the court had a church above us. It was only 2 fields between us. And you could hear them sing way down there. It sound better there than it did up close. But they really had good singing up there. And then one time we was minding cows. There was a big hornet's nest about that high from the ground. I said to my uncle, I said, "What happens if I throw a stone in there?" He said, "Go ahead." Boy, I did, and that one was at that hole, whew, knocked me flat on the ground. Both eyes puffed shut. At least I gave him trouble leading me back house.
Now, what did they do for that since you got stung back then? What did you use any?
Just used hot water on it, draw
Just-
it out.
That was it.
Yeah, you didn't run the doctors every time.
Was there doctors in town
Yeah,
locally?
we had a doctor. He owned a big house up there on Ridge Road, up the upper end of Green Street. Turn right. Turn left. Go back there.
Mm-hmm.
But
Did
it's
they did house visits back then, didn't they?
Huh?
They would come to the house? Did
Yeah, they traveled to the house, or you could go to the office.
Right.
But now they can't get out of it. They don't want to go to the office, see them. Well, I'm telling the truth.
Yeah, you are, I guess.
So how did you get around town? Did you drive a car?
Yeah, we had a car. My grandparents had an old 26 Chevrolet, and we come town in that. Coots Creamery was down here where that big, right on the other side of Green Street. Well, it's Green and right on the other side of Liberty Street, where that big fancy. Well, I guess the homes in there now, apartments.
Yeah.
That was where we bought international equipment.
Well, how did you get how did it work for a license back then? Did you have to go take a test and
You go in, you read your license and learn what, And then when you walked in the old armory down there, that big fat cop sitting in there, no more than you got that door cracked, he'd ask you a question. And you answered 3 questions and then took your driving test. If you did that, you were okay.
So the driving test, what did it consist of? You had a parallel park and
No. You
none of that?
They set up 2 trestles. You back in there and pull out and go up around the block. And that was it.
And that was it. And then I guess was it a picture ID at the time, or was it just a card with
No, just a card.
Just a card with your name on it and where you live?
Looked like your Medicare card. That's what it looked like.
So I'm sure back in the day there, did you guys do a lot of racing? Any car racing?
No, you never heard of. Well, they didn't run that fast anyway. Horses outrun the cars.
So I guess back then dating, was it called courting? Is that what they used to call it?
No, I guess they called it dating when I started anyway.
Yeah.
But we used to ride the horses a lot, Sundays. Work horses. We didn't have no fancy horses, just the work horses. But they took us.
Yeah. The way of getting around town, huh?
Then we had a big bull and had a straw stack. You know what a straw stack is in the barnyard?
Mm-hmm.
Big pile of straw. And he'd get out and go down to neighbors. So we got tired of walking. So we decided couple days we'd learn him to let us ride. So he'd wipe us off on the straw, you know, and one of us on one side and one on the other. When one got off, the other one got on. We got him so we could ride him. And after that, when he went down to the neighbors, we just go down and get him out, jump on him and ride him home. We entertained ourselves. I mean, we used to go around. People want us to catch their pigeons out of their barns because they're messy in the barns, you know. And one night I fell down through a hay hole. Man didn't tell us there was a hay hole there. I jumped off a granary and I went on down landed on a steer. Of course, I got laid down in the dirt. But we had fun. Then we had to close hell up before we left.
Did you guys do any kind of swimming back then, and like in a pond or?
Oh, we had our creek dammed up. We'd go skinny dipping
in. Did you do some fishing? Did you like to fish?
No, we never fished much back in them days. That's just took over since the people's getting lazier. That's right.
Well, it sounds like you had a lot of fun.
Oh, we had fun. I mean, we enjoyed ourselves.
Did you ever go downtown much into Baltimore?
Very seldom we'd go down to Government Ward's when they was down there. Maybe once, twice a year. Go down and get clothes or something like that, shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Buy our automobile tires down there. They had knobs on the tires. And they was good in snow. Man, they take you right on through it.
Hmm.
Now they don't have them. Then they got one out with a tire with a little nail stuck in each little high place, and that's too hard on the road, so it just banded them. Used to have a lot of sales in the wintertime. I mean, you had nothing to do at home, you went to farm sales. And back in them days were a lot because they had sheriff sales.
Oh, really?
Back in Depression days, they had a lot of sheriff sales.
So I guess the farm sales was a lot of farming equipment people were getting rid of?
Or everything that went with farm.
Mm-hmm.
So, I enjoy my life. Still do.
Good. That's important.